And now, podcasting from the sun-scorched desert Southwest, weighing in at a combined total of 340 pounds, Brad Winchester, Tyler McDowell Blanken, are Gimmick Infringement.
Welcome, everybody, to the Gimmick Infringement Podcast. I am Brad Winchester, and with me is my tag team partner, Tyler McDowell Blanken. Tyler, we are here today on a Tuesday, February 15th, to discuss the end of an era, really.
Yeah, Brad, I mean, you said it perfectly, man. I can't believe we're recording this podcast. I knew that the news was out there and the chance was possible that this would occur, but certainly the end of an era. Cody Rhodes leaving AEW. Brad, what a newsworthy day we had.
Yeah, absolutely wild. You texted me in the morning, and of course I was at school, which is a data hellscape, and I can't load any pictures on my phone. I can't load any kind of anything on my phone. My phone is blowing up with notifications from all over the place. I just get like these little brown screens with a picture of a camera in it. So when you finally,
and yet I still send this stuff to you, even though you say, "Dude."
Well, so here's the thing:
it's not loading. It's not gonna happen. I can't see it.
You send me the tweet, and I can see the tweet in the text message, and then I open up the tweet,
Yes.
Nothing, just nothing. And it's like,
you may have heard I did work at Marana High School for a few years. I remember these moments well.
And it's just like, oh my gosh, it's 8:00 in the morning. I don't have students yet. I got this notification coming in, and I want to know what's going on. It's Cody Rhodes something. I'm squinting. I'm holding it up to my eyeballs as close as I can. Nothing. I don't know what's going on. Finally, I see Sean Ross Sapp is going live to talk about the release of Cody Rhodes. Couldn't believe what I saw. Hopped on. Shout out to SRS. And was listening to his reporting. I haven't even listened to the full thing yet. I can't wait to go back and do that. I have been keeping up with Fightful's updates throughout the day. And it's just absolutely shocking news as a self-proclaimed Cody Mark. How did you take the news today?
Yeah, it's odd, Brad, because I think I may have taken the news better than you, which I did not expect. So my initial thoughts, now that I've had really the whole day to process this. So one, I'm a huge Cody Mark. Our listeners probably know this by now because I think I've said it on more than one episode of Gimmick Infringement. It was pretty jarring to see the actual tweet, the tweet from Tony Khan, then the eventual tweet from Cody, from Brandi, obviously, which we'll get into, so on and so forth. So always that sort of initial shock, like kind of with the Ben Simmons and James Harden trade. There's speculation, but then you actually see the tweets, the breaking all caps, and it hits you a little bit different. But for Cody, I think I've handled it pretty well, all things considered. Even though part of me was surprised, reflecting on it today, it actually makes a lot of sense given what we know about Cody and how he is always, I don't want to be cliche, but really betting on himself, right? I think a lot of us were surprised when he left WWE several years ago to sort of live and kind of reinvigorate his wrestling career. And now, if you think about it, with his recent work in AEW, although, Brad, I think you would probably agree, we were super excited to see where his character was going to go from here in AEW. We lived through the very stale Codyverse time period where he was facing not the Nightmare Factory. That's the name of them, right? QT Marshall's group.
Yeah, they were the Factory. Yep.
The Blue Man Group, as I call them. Yeah.
Yeah,
so we lived through the doldrums of that, and I really think now we were getting some really intriguing storylines with him. Yeah. He had a banger with Sammy Guevara for the TNT title, and I was intrigued. However, I got to be honest with you, and then I want to turn over to you, man. As excited as I was to see where Cody would go from here in AEW, I am super excited to see what he does next, particularly if he signs with WWE. I think there's a lot for him to do there. So I'm actually really excited. Maybe it just hasn't sunk in yet, Brad, but we're absolutely losing sort of a forefather, if you will, of AEW. And I just have so much I don't know if nostalgia is the right word, but he and Brandi were so integral to the founding of AEW and the early success of AEW, as well as my memories of enjoying the product in these last 3+ years. So initial sadness this morning, but I'm already kind of fantasy booking in my mind about what he may do next, particularly if he takes his talents to WWE, and that gets me excited. That was a very long response. I want to hear from you now. What were your initial reactions today?
My initial reaction was surprise. I think I was more shocked than surprise. I've had some time to think about it. Obviously, I've had all day to think about it, and I keep coming back to he did the thing that we talk about every once in a while with talent, that is make yourself try not to make yourself so good at your job, which is trying to make everybody better around you, that you make yourself unnecessary. And I think he worked himself out of a job there anyway. And not like they don't want him there. Of course they want him there. He's Cody Rhodes. There's so much to offer there. And then of course Brandi, as well. She was a very important part of the show. I think more behind the scenes than people realize. But man, just knowing now that he's going to have the opportunity to go work somewhere else is really cool. But man, I got to be honest with you, I was shocked. The kind of like what you were saying. I think we had hopes for his future, but what were they going to do with him? He wasn't in a feud. The thing is that Brandi was. So now they're going to have to retcon some of that stuff and figure out where to go. That's the part that got me. It was sort of like with Bray. They built all this stuff up with Alexa, and then boom, he's not on TV anymore. Not that long after that, he's released. Nothing is resolved. It's the Fiend is back, and then he waves at us from the Firefly Funhouse and see you soon, and then he's gone. Cody Rhodes going in has to believe that he's going to get a better run than what he had the first time, because initially he was doing that legacy thing with Orton, and then he started doing the thing with as Stardust, which was garbage. And even though he has some good stuff in there, they just clearly didn't know what to do with him. And now he's going back as Cody Rhodes. I loved a couple of things, and I'm sure we're going to get to this in a second, but that it ended amicably. There was public. We just didn't meet on things. I guess my thought is, I'm going to give you why I think, and then I'll ask you. They couldn't come to an agreement. Well, what couldn't they come to an agreement on? And the only thing I can think of is they wanted more money. That would, number one, I think they both wanted more money, but I also think they wanted more opportunities to produce other content. I mean, Cody is doing stuff everywhere. He's doing the Go Big show. They had Roads to the Top. He's in AEW. He's all over TBS. Basically, Turner Networks is the Rhodes channel at the moment, and that's fine. I think that's great. I don't think they were getting a second season of Roads to the Top. It didn't sound like there was anything in the works. I don't know about the Go Big show. He's a judge on there. It doesn't mean he won't be on there anymore. But if he signs with WWE, there's no way he'll be on there again.
Right.
Just no way. And I think now with WWE, with what they want to do, and Peacock as an option, they can do things like Roads to the Top. They can do stuff legacy related. They still have the Dusty Cup, and now Cody can show up for that and do things with that to honor his father and that kind of work. So I think it wasn't the wrestling part of it that got in the way. I think it was all the other stuff around it that they probably wanted more, and they just weren't able to come to an agreement on that. What are your thoughts, Tyler?
Well said, Brad. Several astute points there. I think to kind of even then further what you said. So again, we're speculating here. If we can believe that Brandi and Cody maybe didn't secure as much money as they would have wanted from AEW, I think on the other side of that, if they end up in WWE, I'm sure they got a really generous offer to go there. So I may not get the offer I want from AEW, but that doesn't mean I have to go on the indies and sort of prove myself like I did years ago. Now he really, speaking about Cody specifically, he really accomplished, I think, part of what he set out to do. Not only did he uh, helped create this really dope wrestling company, but he completely increased his value. I think the Cody that left WWE years ago pales in comparison to the value of the Cody we have now. So,
Oh, for sure. It's not close. Yeah.
right, if it is WWE, I can only imagine the offer that they received. And like you said, Brad, if we can speculate that he's going to WWE, I mean, where else would he go? Really, there could be a case for the nostalgia of NWA, but he did that. I don't know if Impact would be appealing to him. I feel like he did that on his way to AEW. He had that really awesome indie run. I think what we're seeing of someone like Matt Cardona right now,
Yeah.
Cody. This is my Cody Mark moment. Cody really paved the way for like what a Matt Cardona is. Now, I would argue Matt Cardona, maybe his run is even maybe more awesome than Cody's, but Cody did that years ago, and I think was a trailblazer in that regard. He just killed it in the indies.
Yeah.
He
Mhm.
had a friend AEW in the ring, behind the scenes, right? EVP Jones. But now I think his value is just through the roof. If he shows up at WWE, I don't want to work myself into a shoot here, but that man has to be a main eventer. No, he walks in day one, and is he not easily one of the top 5 to 10 male wrestlers on that roster, and hopefully closer to 5 than he is 10? What do you think?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I would assume so, but it's WWE. I feel like WWE will try to retcon all of the things he's done. I don't know that they acknowledge his journey. I don't know that they let him acknowledge AEW exists. I don't know that they let him do that. It's going to be, I'm going to say the first promo back is going to be like, I clawed my way back here kind of stuff. It's going to be Drew-esque in that respect. And all of that stuff will make it feel like I did all the things I did on the way in order to get back to the WWE. And that's going to feel pretty shitty, I think. So I'm hoping that that doesn't happen, because then it negates all the good work he did in AEW, starting AEW, all the work he did in it as a performer, not just as an EVP. As far as answering your question goes, I think so, but I can also see him doing some temporary thing with him where he's like a top guy in the company and then he's just not. And then he goes back to the pack and he goes back into, I don't know, maybe they give him an intercontinental title run. I guess he's not that big compared to a lot of the other monsters that are in there. And you know how Vince likes to run things there. And I see him having some matches. I can't wait to see him lock up with AJ Styles if he goes there. I think that'll be a classic. But
Like you said, Randy Orton as well. I'm not the biggest Randy Orton guy, but
I
there's,
love
as you
Randy.
mentioned,
Yeah.
there's a ton of history there going back to the Legacy
But
trio.
Randy is not Cody on the mic. Like Cody, let
No.
Cody go. But that's the
Yes.
thing. Think about Cody, what he's done since leaving. He's found his voice.
Yeah.
He is going to be handed a script. So it's going to be a totally different thing. It's going to be a totally different Cody. I doubt we're going to see a Cody Vader. I doubt we're going to see a lot of Nightmare Family references, since he's not in the family anymore. His brother's still in AEW, and all of that's okay. But I'm afraid they're going to screw this up in some particular WWE way, if that is where he goes. We can't forget that he did his run in New Japan, and New Japan has some money. I don't think they're going to offer him the money and Brandi the money and the opportunities that they're looking for. I doubt they're looking to leave stateside, especially having a newborn. I think that Impact might have a better offer at this point, given their growth in recent months. They haven't grown a lot, but they've been doing over 100,000 in certain places, and they seem to be making moves. I don't know. WWE has to be the only place. Fightful reported that there was some people at WWE that were interested, that were talking about it. They knew this was coming. No way he doesn't land at WWE, I think, or he's just done. Like, I can't see him going anywhere but WWE or AEW, the end period.
Right. Exactly. No, and with how he left WWE, with the Stardust gimmick, you would think that maybe part of it is pride related. Like he wants to go back there and perhaps end his WWE career on a completely different note, being him, being the grandson of a plumber, right? The American Dreams kid. I wonder, I didn't foresee that when Cody was one of the four to start this company with the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega. But to me, just kind of thinking about it today, I just really reflected on, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Like Cody's always done his own thing, right? And he seems very
Right.
goal oriented. So of course he would want to go back to WWE and um, be that main eventer that I think he always believed he could be. It makes so much sense to me. But my my excitement is a little bit dwindled because you did hit us with some reality there, Brad, that we've seen a lot of wrestlers who we enjoy just used in really underwhelming ways. So I asked you about Cody being a top 5 to 10 act on that roster. And if we just look down this list of who is currently employed on the male roster in WWE, first, the list is not very long whatsoever. But if you talk about fantasy booking, man, AJ Styles absolutely at the top of the list. We mentioned Randy Orton. Give me a Cody versus Finn Balor match.
Yes.
If
Yes.
we can ever get Finn Balor back on our TV screens, that would be optimal. But also, please inject Cody versus Finn directly into my eyeballs now. Who else, man? Damian Priest, of course.
That could
Kevin
be
Owens.
fun. Kevin Owens,
I think
definitely.
KO's already booked for WrestleMania, though. I think he may have a match with Stone Cold Steve Austin. That was also newsworthy this week. But
Freya's excited about it. I can hear her in the background.
Yes. Shout out to Freya.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Yeah, man. Point being, I just think the work he could do will be just, pun intended, phenomenal. Seth Rollins is there. Rey Mysterio, I think, would be interesting. Again, the list goes on and on. My question for you, though, Brad, is we have some hesitation, some reservations about what his journey could look like once he gets to WWE. I want you to tell me, fantasy booking related, what is Cody Rhodes' character when he gets there? You said that he probably won't mention or maybe be allowed to mention his AEW run, but when he arrives day one, is he the American Nightmare? Is it the same gear? Is it the Kingdom entrance music? Is he a heel? Is he a babyface? Is he that third box you check mark? Just what is it, winner? What do you foresee? What kind of character is he going to be? Does he show up as, hey, I'm here to prove myself, I'm here to kick ass? Do we get heel Cody finally? What do you think?
Number one, I don't know who owns the rights to his music. I don't know if depending on what kind of rights ownership there is, they either have it for a certain time period or while the person's employed. So it's who is it? Downstate, I think.
Yes,
Downstate,
good
whatever
call.
it is.
I think it's downstate. Yeah.
Yeah. Spelled differently, STAIT, I believe.
Yeah,
and
that's right.
it's a good song. No way to keep it. I can see, though, the American Nightmare going with him. I'm sure he owns that. And I doubt AEW does, because he was using it on the indies, correct?
Correct.
So, but Jay White mentioned it this week, though. Once a member of Bullet Club, always a member of Bullet Club. So we'll see, man. I would love to see, imagine Switchblade showing up at WWE as well. Good God. I break all the doors. I'm sick of this forbidden door shit with WWE. I want everybody working everywhere. The end. How cool would that be?
Yeah.
It makes me a little concerned about the EVP talk, about EVPs not maybe having a little bit of not a falling out, but not being on the same page, or not talking to each other as much, or not being as close, as I lose Tyler entirely. Well, folks, I guess we'll soldier on here. This is this is alarming. I give you a peek behind the curtain here. I'm watching the Google Doc. Tyler is clicking it. I don't know what he did. I can't wait to hear what this explanation is. I don't want to talk about Cody until he gets back, but I might even leave him in the waiting room. Yeah, I'm going to leave him in the waiting room for a minute just to sweat it out because I want to know what happened, everybody. This is truly something. While I make him wait, this is a shoot. So if you're watching on YouTube, if I actually put this on YouTube, Tyler is currently laughing his ass off, staring at the screen, waiting to be entered because I haven't let him in yet. Cody Rhodes is not a baby face. He is a heel. He always has been a heel. Okay, welcome back, Tyler.
You handled that so well, Brad. I have no idea, man. I feel like part of my pinky may have like ricocheted on my keyboard. I don't know, man. I went to a screen that said log in with your account. I have no idea. I'm back. I'm sure you handled it incredibly well. You cut a great promo there. Although I did not appreciate the blasphemy that you just spoke about Cody Rhodes not being a babyface. Give me babyface Cody Rhodes in WWE. Print the shirts. Print the shirts. I'm there.
We have to have babyface Cody Rhodes in WWE. Anybody that debuts like that, unless they're beating the piss out of somebody, and then they're probably still a babyface, has to be a babyface. They don't have any babyfaces that are any kind of good over there right now. They've booked them into oblivion. Who's the best, strongest babyface right now? Right now, you got Seth and KO doing stuff together. They're trying to get Stone Cold out of retirement. I want to see Stone Cold and KO do a thing. I don't want to see him wrestle. I give KO something else to do. Stone Cold hasn't wrestled in 20 years.
Right. Like, and if that, I know that's the other newsworthy, speculation or rumors of the week, but for that match too, I was even thinking about this, Brad. And if let's say if the rumors are true and Stone Cold fights Kevin Owens at Jerry World, is Kevin Owens having say a 90-second match or 60-second match really becoming of his talent? And we know Stone Cold would win, right? But I just feel that seems like kind of a waste. To me, that's like Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt family, being used against The Rock. And you could argue that, well, that put them over because they were in the ring with The Rock, whether it's 90 seconds or 3 minutes, that was a moment on the show. But again, when we talk about WWE's reliance on nostalgia, much. Everyone loves nostalgia, but your biggest acts are Brock Lesnar, possibly Stone Cold, Ronda Rousey coming in. And I don't foresee Cody Rhodes going over a Brock Lesnar or even a Roman Reigns. Is Cody the guy to beat Roman Reigns?
If they can make anybody there be the guy. This is the thing that's so frustrating with them. Build a damn character. Stop 50-50 booking people. Like, let people win, go on a streak, fight the champion, take the L. That's fine. At least then it's like, man, this person is built. This person is on a streak. I believe this person could win. Look at all these monsters they've beaten. It's not that complicated, but instead it's you took my ice cream one time and I'm upset and you're going to pin me, but I'll pin you. I'll pin you as champion and not win the championship. It's just, what is going on? It's just so stupid. So I'm terrified for Cody Rhodes going over there and being buried by old man Vince. I need this company to be sold, bro. Like, I need him to retire. I need the company to be sold. Then I'll feel good about Cody going over there. Until then, I have no faith that they're not going to Stardust him back in.
Oh boy. I don't know. I'm just man, anger, tears inside thinking of the possibility of that. I love
the E. I love the E. You love the E. We all love WWE.
Yes, we do.
We love the talent there. We want it to succeed. We want it to we just want it to be better.
We do.
That's
it. We do.
Rhea Ripley, that match. Good God.
Yeah.
But then we do such dumb things. What is happening here? Why would we do that to Bianca? Why would Becky win like that? Becky's run has been really fun, minus some stupid stuff. Like, nobody believed Lita was going to win. Nobody believed Doudrop was going to win. All of that stuff. But beating Bianca like that, man, and we're still doing Blood Money pay-per-views. Is it this weekend? Did it already happen? I don't even know.
No, it's this Saturday.
I mean, I'm not going to watch it.
Yeah, count me out. I'm still out on that one.
But I'm saying that right now, knowing full well if there's an incredible match or a debut or something, I'm going to go watch it.
Yeah. Well,
So
we also didn't
whatever.
talk about the. I know you're predicting Lashley to retain, which makes me happy, even though I think Brock's going to win. But we didn't even talk about Goldberg versus Roman Reigns.
Because who cares?
And well, I care because we can assume that of course, Roman's going to win.
You're scared they're going to Bray Wyatt him, right?
Yes, of course,
Yeah.
Brad. I'm going to avoid touching my keyboard so that I don't log out. But I want to make my point clear here. Every Blood Money show, there's just, I don't know what you call it, a spidey sense or just the hairs on the back of my neck. But every time, man, I just think about, of course, Goldberg is going to win, right? But I felt that way when he faced The Fiend at Blood Money, whatever year it was, because I thought there was no way The Fiend was losing that match until he did. Do you think Roman Reigns beats Goldberg?
Yes. Come on now.
There's no hesitation. 100%
No hesitation.
I don't know, man.
I
don't know.
I don't think he pins him. I don't think he makes him tap. I think he passes out Guillotine City. Or he DQs him.
Okay.
He DQs him the way that he did with Seth.
I'll say that I hope you're right.
Whatever we're going to get, it's going to be in less than 10 minutes.
I'm predicting Roman, but I'm not as confident as you, man. Again, I'm just going to avoid this show at all costs. So
I feel like at some point there will be a double spear and they'll both be down.
Yeah.
That way they can make the match longer. I feel like there'll be a Superman punch into a jackhammer or something. I don't know. I don't care. Who cares? Who cares about this? Like, who cares? Goldberg was great in 1997, 1998, whatever the hell it was.
Of course.
Amazing. Everybody loved Goldberg. I don't need to see that shit again. Like he comes out of like hiding every once in a while. They play the drums and everybody chants Goldberg, and then he comes out and ruins everybody's night. Like I don't even fault him. Like I take that Dodge money and run too. Like whatever, bro. I just don't want to see you on the screen beating Roman Reigns, unkillable Roman Reigns. Right. They don't have anybody right now. They did, but they ruined it with the Seth match.
Right.
That I would have given it to Seth that night if I had any confidence. But who do you have left? Drew? Drew's got to be the only guy.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, again, going back to this roster I have in front of me, of course, I want to float the name Ricochet out there as being someone who could be a top babyface, but it just appears he gets screen time, but it just appears that they're not going to push him to that level, even though I think it's preposterous. Austin Theory, not a babyface. We have the Street Profits, but that's a tag team. Again, Finn Balor I mentioned, but he is MIA. Riddle, I would guess, is probably the closest thing we have to a top babyface at the moment, aside from Drew.
Big E.
Big E.
But we already saw the match.
But and tag team Big E. That's who he is now.
Big E and Kofi Kingston, not the New Day.
Right. And don't get me started on Kofi and his downward trajectory since losing the title. The man has never asked for a rematch, never demanded that he get a match against Brock again. It's frustrating. But let me ask you, Brad, two follow-up questions I have for you. So one, I want to know your thoughts on the reality of Cody, reality, quote unquote, of Cody potentially being the first AEW to WWE signee, if you will. Want to know your thoughts on that, because I would imagine you and I probably would have predicted a few other names to fill that role before Cody Rhodes would, whether that be Chris Jericho or the Wardlows of the world, so on and so forth. So I want to know your thoughts there. But then I also want to know, what do you think becomes of Brandi? Does she become the manager for Cody, much like how it was on the Independents? Does she maybe take a backstage role? Does she become an addition to the women's roster in terms of in-ring? So first, your thoughts on Cody being potentially the first AEW WWE signee, and then some fantasy booking for Brandi. What are you thinking for her?
I don't really have fantasy booking for Brandi. Like I don't know that she's at the main roster level. Her character work is. I don't know that she could hang in the ring with Sasha Banks. Like There's very few
Might be a
people
tough
that
ask. Yeah.
there's very few people in there that I trust to hang with her.
Yeah.
Consistently anyway. But she's improved so much that I don't really know, because we saw one match on Dark where she looked incredible, and I haven't seen her wrestle since. And she looks great. And I think maybe so. I hope we get to see her work in the ring. I really do. I hope we get to see her out there. I just don't know. I haven't seen enough. As a manager, she'd be great. I would love to see her. I bring back managers. I miss it. So let her do that. Let her get involved with people. She knows how to take a bump. She knows how to deal out some damage. She can do all of the things you need a manager to do, and also have them wrestle a match. Here's my fear. Brandi and Cody come as a package deal, and then we get another couples intergender thing. We already saw it. I just feel like that may be like, that was good shit, pal. Let's do it again. And then we're doing it again and again and again. I can see Cody. So I can see Cody, all those guys you named, all of them. I can see Cody in a program with them. I'll ask you a question. What gold do you see Cody winning, if any, in WWE?
World Championship. Easily. And not just saying that to be funny, I guess, but I really think if he is to go to WWE, I don't know if this is in his contract or what the language would look like, but I have to believe the expectation would be that he is not only a player in that division, but that he secures the gold. I think that would be a huge motivator for him to go back to WWE, is to be the top guy. And Brad, you and I spoke about this just a few minutes ago. Let's say he can go to Mondays or Fridays, Raw or SmackDown. I think that
SmackDown.
guy.
They have
SmackDown?
to. That show
Okay.
is absolutely terrible right now.
Okay. I don't. So Roman runs Friday night. So I don't think
Yes.
Cody.
Okay,
I don't see
before
Cody
you even
taking the
get
belt
there.
off. Yeah.
Let's assume both champions retain this weekend, okay?
Okay.
Cody has no shot against Lashley in the WWE. 0% shot.
You think so?
0% shot.
Okay. I'm more hopeful than you.
0% shot. Think about how they've built him. The only person that was able to like stop him was Brock, and they're not going to book Cody like Brock and a Money in the Bank Big E. And this is what I think. Cody against monsters has won his matches through gimmick matches. He lost. Brody Lee killed him in a regular match, absolutely murderized him. And then you get a rematch. You finally get the rematch and he wins. How? Dog collar match. The WWE isn't going to allow that kind of stuff. They just don't do that kind of stuff. Like, they don't allow pile drivers. They don't allow brain busters. That stuff happens all the time in AEW. So I just don't see that they'd book him the way that they need to be booked, unless there's a elimination chamber, a random surprise guest because somebody gets injured and they find a replacement and, oh, it's Cody. I can absolutely see that happening this weekend. I can absolutely. His contract's been up since December, so
that's bold.
If the E can fly him out there now, that's why I'm like, I kind of want to watch, because I want to know if Cody's there, but I also know I kind of have to go finish this damn set, so I'm probably going to be there building instead.
Yeah,
concert tonight, man. Shout out to Mr. Atterbury.
Yes,
great guy,
great dude,
incredible teacher. I can't use the damn auditorium tonight, so.
But we love him regardless.
Well, we love him. It is not his fault. He's got a concert, man. People got to listen to the music. Former trumpet here. Trumpet players represent. We're all kind of a mess.
Yeah, Brad. No, we kind of see things a little differently on this one. I don't think he's going to be at the show this weekend. I really think his debut, in my mind, has to be on a Monday or a Friday. I have more hope that he could go over on a Lashley. I don't think he would go over on a Reigns. So that's tough. I mean, your original question was, what is his ceiling? But I just think it's main event, man. I think if he's going back to WWE, that has to be an expectation, is that he's going to hold that gold. I think it would make so much sense. I think he has the in-ring chops, like you said, the chops on the mic. To me, his ceiling, if you will, is WWE champion or Universal champion. I kind of see him on Monday nights, to be honest with you. In my mind, Roman runs Fridays, and I don't know, man. I think he's going to keep running Fridays for a long time. Not until Braun Breaker beats him at SummerSlam or next year's WrestleMania. But then again, like he's supposed to fight The Rock at next year's WrestleMania. It's a lot, man. I just think this could be a big move for Cody. And I think it'd be a big move for WWE. But like you, we've just seen time after time talents underutilized. So I'm just, if it is WWE, I'm really fascinated to see how much control perhaps he has over his character, because we know that was a central reason why he left the E in the first place. So
right. Yes.
Do we really believe that sort of one man, or in this case, two people, Cody and his wife Brandi, can really change the system? I don't know, but I believe in this dude. I think it's main event title or bust.
I can see Brandi working with Stephanie. Stephanie does a lot of the outreach stuff. So
yeah, for sure.
She has experience there, and has experience basically running a wrestling company. So I can see her being an office person as well as an in-ring talent. I mean, if Bruce Pritchard can come out during the pandemic Money in the Bank ladder match as Brother Love, then maybe Brandi comes out and wrestles every once in a while. I think it could be really cool. I don't listen, man. There's no reason I can see that he shouldn't be WWE champion if he goes to WWE. He's going there. What am I saying? There's no reason that he shouldn't be. I'm saying that I don't think it will be for a while. I don't think he beats Lashley. I don't think he beats Roman. I think he beats whoever beats Lashley. I just don't see them. They'll have to book Cody Rhodes as somebody who's I've beaten monsters. The only way to do that is to acknowledge his past. It's the only way. And maybe they let him do it with Brody. Maybe they talk about how he beat Brody. That's a way to connect the two storylines with the same person. So maybe they let him do that. But do they make him call him Luke Harper? I don't know. I just hope they use him well, because the dude has earned it.
Yeah. Well, that leads me to my next question for you. Is there any chance that Cody would be conducting espionage for AEW? Is this just a secret plant? Is this Tony sending Cody and no, not
absolutely
at all. There's
no
chance. Okay,
no.
I just had to run it by you, Brad. That is the reckless speculation on the internet. There's no chance Cody and Brandi will be playing.
No.
I just had to ask.
I think you got to think about how the WWE, without needing to, has honored Dusty Rhodes' legacy, right? Like, he was a worker there, an employee there, I should say, working with NXT talent, and the Rhodes family just has a long legacy, primarily with Dustin, not Dusty, but there is a long tradition and legacy at WWE. They do a great job making documentaries and video packages and honoring the past in a way that few other places can do. AEW doesn't have that kind of production value right now. They're not as big. They don't have dedicated production. They have TNT and TBS, and then whatever they can put together, but they don't have a documentary team. They don't have the full weight of NBC Universal behind them. It's just totally different. I can see Cody wanting to create more content than just being an in-ring performer. I hope they allow him to. I hope they allow him to do the interviews and the promos that he has been doing for the last 5 years or so. If they don't, I think it's going to be a bust. I think he'll be back in AEW sooner than later. Listen, man, I want to hope for the best here and think it's going to be a big dub for WWE and Cody. Give me a reason to have confidence. Not trying to be a downer here, but man, I don't trust WWE at all.
It's very sensical of you. I get it.
So here's what I predict: an AJ-like run. AJ came in, debuted,
okay, that's a good
hugely
comparison.
over, wins the title, drops it after not too much time, has been kind of in the title picture ever since. Wrestling main eventers, like he was the Undertaker's last match. So I can see him just sort of hovering around those, taking the Intercontinental, taking the US.
Right. AJ wasn't pole vaulted to
Right.
top title holder immediately. Absolutely.
But I don't know what I was listening to this weekend, if it was Fightful or what it was, but I think it was SRS talking about AJ Styles being that pit bull that Vince always wanted. He finally got his pit bull.
That was Fightful, yeah.
Cody reminds me a lot of AJ Styles in that respect. Can be a high flyer, can be a mat wrestler, can kind of do all of those things. He's less angry and kind of I'll fight you no matter what than AJ Styles, which is what I love about him. He just looks like he wants to fight. Cody is much more cerebral. He's sort of a AJ Styles Triple H hybrid is probably the best comp I can make there. Do they? Oh man, I just had this thought. Do they do anything to acknowledge that he smashed the throne with a sledgehammer?
Right. I mean, how could they not? It's fascinating because we know Triple H is also MIA at the moment. We know he had some health stuff last year, and we just haven't seen him as an on-screen character in the longest time.
Or a backstage anything.
Since the Black and Gold brand. Part of me thinks Cody versus Triple H has money written all over it, but man, I don't think the Throne Breaker gets acknowledged unless it's a Triple H versus Cody match, which I don't think is in the near future.
No, but I can absolutely see, this is what I think. This is the way up. Okay. Cody takes the belt from somebody. We'll say Lashley or whoever Lashley is pinned by ultimately. This is my fantasy booking.
I love it.
This is when Triple H comes back. Triple H, Cody promo battle. And Triple H says, I can't wrestle you. My heart can't do this anymore. I am retired, but I brought my biggest guy. And then Braun's music plays. Braun Breaker comes in. That's his NXT call up. It's Triple H sending Braun Breaker after a champion Cody Rhodes to ultimately lose it to Braun. I think Cody would do the job for somebody to make them look good. He's at that stage of his career. He has the belt. He drops the belt. I can absolutely see that happening.
And you just came up with that right now.
Yes.
I did not hear you mention this at all today.
No, it's because that's how my brain works. It's like a little bunch of rabbits running around in there, and every once in a while the rabbit jumps out with a nice idea, and it's like, that's cool.
I will tell you that may interfere with my Braun versus Roman immediate plans. Braun Breaker, that is. But
I think Braun takes both belts at some point and just
Braun just owns the company. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Maybe they unify the belts finally and get rid of it. Like I'm sick of it. I think too many belts.
Yeah, he's probably that special. It's so funny we mentioned that because the NXT Valentine's Day show is tonight as we record this. Yet you and I don't think, not obviously on air.
I just said, wow, because I was surprised to know that it was still on air.
Yeah, even off air, you and I haven't spoken about this show at all, and yet we have a lot of hope for their main guy. Just what a time in wrestling. Last question I want to ask you. So Codys AEW run, you and I have enjoyed a lot of it. Maybe most of it, I would argue. What is your favorite memory of Cody and AEW? Whether this be a match, a feud. You mentioned the dog collar match with Brody Lee, which was brutal and just very, very brutal. We've seen him fight Andrade El Idolo, the fiery table spot. He had the match with Sammy G that we mentioned. The dude's been putting on bangers. I would argue as well, Brad, he's put over a lot of young talent.
Yes, a lot.
It's been a really great run for him in AEW. What stands out to you, though? What are you going to remember from his time in All Elite Wrestling?
Okay, before I get there, it popped me. I was trying to check out any kind of news from NXT, and the first thing that popped up was a tweet from Miro 3 hours ago that the 16-year-old boy smoking e-cigarettes at LA Fitness on the bench press is the new all-time low.
I almost retweeted that. Yes,
as somebody that works at a high school, I feel this. Okay, so it's not so much a moment. My favorite moment, I guess, if we're going to do this, my favorite promo is certainly not the I have a mixed baby coming into the world promo. That's
delivered it well, but
great, expertly delivered, but
not timing.
No, and that was the start of everybody calling him a heel. That was the moment. That was it. And also
the whole Go feud was really just not.
That whole thing sucked.
Not the business.
No,
Yeah,
it was terrible.
not
I
the-
know what they were trying to do, but it was bad.
yeah, and I think he's even said as much now looking back
Yeah.
on it. Like, yeah, that was not my best.
And it was like 2 months of just, ugh.
Yeah,
It was the Nightmare Family and the Nightmare Factory feuding, and then there's
yeah.
like you go on the internet and there's like Dustin training with the Nightmare Factory, and
Yeah, and if
I
memory serves, that was at Double or Nothing. It had like a
yeah,
very July 4th type of feel, America versus a foreign enemy, which is
yes,
just I think
1990s,
we left that in years
yeah,
past for good reason.
and I think I don't like that now that we have social media. Of course, we know it's all a work. Of course, we know they all just work together. But when part of the feud is the outside job, and that's in the feud, then you can't show the outside job as being totally normal or it ruins it. Like, I don't care if MJF hangs out with CM Punk. That's fine. But like, if you're going, this place that trains wrestlers is now beefing with me and my family, then don't show yourself hanging out with that place that's trying to beat up your family at the place. It doesn't make any sense. Anyway, hated that.
You're not wrong.
I loved, though, the promo leading up to the dog collar match. It's one of my favorite promos of all time. The no as in no regrets, no as in no looking back. Great promo.
Yeah, I think you used that in class as well, right?
I
For a
absolutely
rhetoric
did.
unit.
I absolutely did.
Amazing.
The couple of other moments, the flip off the cage. We can't forget that, right? Like one of the craziest spots I've ever seen. And I saw it on Twitter. I didn't see it live.
Yeah, against Wardlow in
Yeah.
Georgia. Yes,
And
early
then,
Wardlow.
early Wardlow in his return to in Cody's return to Atlanta. And then the other one was actually just the pandemic title reign, the open challenge, the start of the open challenge. That open challenge was so fun. I mean, it was a way to get indie wrestlers paid. We got Warhorse. Because of that, we got Eddie Kingston. Eddie Kingston would not be in AEW without Cody Rhodes doing the open challenge. So I think
Ricky Starks as well.
Ricky Starks, the entire open challenge was alone probably the greatest thing he did in AEW. What about you?
Yeah. All the ones you mentioned. What sticks out to me is that match he had against Darby. I was watching that pay-per-view at your home, actually. I think this was Full Gear.
Wow,
Full
that's
Gear 2020, maybe? Full Gear
That sounds
2020.
right,
Yeah. Cody dropped the TNT belt to Darby. And yeah, man, I was so surprised at that finish. That ruled. Like you said, really the top has to go to either his open challenge series or the dog collar match against Brody Lee. He obviously faced Chris Jericho early on and lost when he was competing for the world title. I think that was at a previous Full Gear as well. I think you have that poster. That's why I'm putting the pieces together. Yeah, that sticks out to me, man. And really, I don't want to be I don't want to have the dreaded recency bias, but his ladder match against Sammy, I don't know that I've seen many ladder matches that great, not only on TV but ever.
Yeah.
That match ruled so hard. The Andrade match I thought was really great. Not really in love with the work he did with Malachi Black, surprisingly, but him getting squashed by Malachi in that first match. I really think Cody struck a fine balance of he had his victories and he had his moments, but he also really made so many other talents that cannot go unwritten when we talk about his legacy in AEW. I thought it was just a hell of a run.
Totally agree. I don't really know what to say to add to that. So I think on that note, on that positive note, I think we should end there in our 30-minute podcast special that has gone 48 minutes so far, almost 49.
Yes, this was a beautiful one, man. Of course, we hope our listeners enjoyed. Thank you all so much for rocking with GI, for listening, for subscribing, hopefully sharing the pod with all the people. We appreciate you. You can follow Brad and I on Twitter. Brad is at Winduster. I am at Tyler J. McDowell. You can also follow Gimmick Infringement at GIPod19. And finally, please give the fine folks at 19 Media Group a follow. They are at 19M Group on Twitter. We'll see you all in the next episode of Gimmick Infringement. Gimmick Infringement is a part of 19 Media Group. You can listen to us on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you find podcasts. You can also find us on YouTube via the 19 Media Group channel. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share.